Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Philadelphia Phillies in an exhibition game from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. There is a new member of the Yes Network booth. It's Lou Piniella. He started with the Yankees in 1974. He had some great moments. You'll obviously all remember the great play he made in right field in the one-game playoff in 1978. He's been with the Yankees as a manager, as a GM. He was a broadcaster once before. He's going to bring some of that fire as well right to the Yes Network booth. And this is Lou Piniella. I'm Michael Kay. Lou, welcome to the Yes Network family.
Thank you, Michael. I'm excited about joining the Yes Network family. I look forward to a lot of fun working with you and the rest of the guys. It'll be a fun summer.
It should be fun, and CC Sabathia hopes it's fun for him as well. He had a good year last year, but not a great year. He didn't like the way he finished, and he talked about what he's trying to change.
I just didn't pitch well enough, you know, and I take pride in going out and trying to help the team win every time out, and I wasn't able to do that in the second half of the season, and even in the playoffs. So, you know, I worked hard this offseason, you know, watched a lot of film, which, you know, I normally don't do, and, you know, just trying to find ways where I can get better and be able to, you know, help this team, you know, try to win the championship.
Well, the Yankees need a strong CC Sabathia. That's no secret. Lou, how important is a big gun like that in your rotation?
Well, every team needs a pitcher that's fully capable of winning 20 games in the #1 slot. A pitcher that can stop a losing streak. A pitcher that can pitch 220-plus innings. For the Yankees, that's CC Sabathia, and he's a good one.
Takes a lot of pressure off a manager for sure.
Well, it takes a lot of pressure off the manager, off the pitching coach, and off the bullpen.
All right, we'll see CC. He's going to start today against the Philadelphia Phillies. So we will look forward to a good game here this afternoon from Steinbrenner Field. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, coming up next, right here on Yes.
Good to go?
You're good to go.
Uh, 75. It is a long hike.
It's about 2 hours. If you have a heavy foot, I guess it could be 150, but whatever it is, it's a fairly long drive. Defense straight away. Martinez playing short, leading off. Ball foul back. Sabathia, as he saw in the open, he started the season on fire last year. Did a great job. Had the great first half he usually does. In the second half, he seemed like he wore down just a little bit. He admits that he put some weight on and then did not perform as well down the stretch, nor did he perform well in that series against the Tigers that eliminated the Yankees from the playoffs. The 2-2.
Well, that extra weight, especially in the hot summer month, Michael, it puts a strain on you. And you're not as effective. I'm glad to see him. He's in good shape. I've seen him in the clubhouse, and he's been working hard.
And the 3-2. And he walks Martinez. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup that is facing CC Sabathia. We already took a look at Michael Martinez, the shortstop. He leads off. Batting second, playing left field, Scott Pasednik. Shane Victorino's in center. Who bat third. Ty Wigginton, the first baseman, cleans up. Lou Montanez in right field, bats fifth. Hector Luna, third baseman, bats sixth. And it's Kevin Franson, Tyson Gillies, and Eric Kratz, 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. Pasednik slaps one into left center field. That's going to be a base hit, cut off in left center by Dickerson. So a single as Martinez advances to second. Check out the Yankee defense, which is brought to you by the Home Depot. We already took a look at Dickerson in center, so we'll start there. On either side of him, Bill Hall trying to make the team his utility man. He's in left, and Andrew Jones over in right. Infield, Eric Chavez at third. Derek Jeter, the captain, is the shortstop. Robinson Cano at second. Mark Teixeira at first. Russell Martin behind the plate. CC Sabathia is on the mound, and DHing for the Yankees is Alex Rodriguez, so they give him half a day off that he doesn't have to play third. Here's Shane Victorino, the center fielder for the Phillies.
Well, Shane's a nice hitter, but Phillies really need Utley and Ryan Howard in that third and fourth slots. You can't lose that kind of thunder.
Utley is bothered by an arthritic knee, and Ryan Howard ruptured his Achilles on the final play of the playoffs last year against the Cardinals. Fly ball left field. Bill Hall puts it away for the first out.
Now you're talking about two outstanding hitters, not only batting average wise, RBI wise, but they both hit the long ball.
And it's strange because the Phillies look, and you see what Sabathia did last season. This is how good Sabathia is: 19-8, 3.00 ERA, and we say it wasn't a great season. He gives them innings, 237 in the third, and as Lou said in the open, that takes a lot of stress off the bullpen.
No question, Michael.
Fouled away.
I remember in 2001 he was pitching against us Cleveland in the playoffs against Seattle when I was managing them. We had all his pitches. Pitched 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run.
And you knew what he was throwing.
And we knew what he was throwing. That's how good a stuff he's got, especially when he's located. And that's what he's been working on a lot this spring. Talking to Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. Last year, his fastball, his changeup cut a little more, and they're trying to keep his front foot a little more open, so he's not throwing across his body as much, and he feels very comfortable.
The 0-2. Now you knew all his pitches because he was tipping.
He was tipping his pitches. We had I don't remember exactly what he was doing, but we could call the pitches from the dugout. Now hitters knew him, but boy, I tell you, they went out there and whiffed a lot. But he was throwing hard that day. Now 96, 97 with an outstanding slider and an occasional changeup just to keep you honest. Pretty good combination.
First and second, one out, just underway here in Tampa. Michael Kay along with the newest member of the Yes Network team, Lou Piniella. 2-2 count on Ty Wigginton. Wigginton's going to play a lot of first base till Ryan Howard gets back. High fly ball, right center. Dickerson and Jones. Jones makes the call and the catch. Tagging is Martinez, and he will go to third. Beautiful weather here in Tampa, and the weather conditions brought to you by Toyota. 82 degrees, but back in the Bronx, it's not too bad. It's been a very mild winter, just 56 degrees and sunny, and it's actually partly cloudy here in Tampa. But there's some humidity in the air today as well, so it's starting to get that feel. And the players like that because you can get loose quickly, get in shape. Just a great day and a great facility here in Tampa.
And that's a big difference between spring training here in Arizona and in Florida. The humidity factor that you talked about. You can sweat here more. You can get in shape a lot quicker, Michael. Now the travel is a little more pronounced here in Florida. especially now that Tucson is out of the mix. But I'll tell you this, I've always liked spring trainings in Florida.
Lou Montanez, the 0-1, is grounded to short. Jeter across the diamond, and that'll do it. So CC works out of an early jam. No runs, a hit, no errors. 2 men left on base. It's the Phillies nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. So CC works out of his first jam here, and now we look at the Yankees starting lineup that will go up against Kyle Kendrick. The Yankees starting lineup is presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter leads off. Batting second and playing second, Robinson Cano. Alex Rodriguez, the DH, will hit third. Mark Teixeira's at first base, cleaning up. Batting fifth, playing third base, Eric Chavez. Russell Martin will catch. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, Andrew Jones. Bill Hall's in left field. He's going to hit eighth. Batting ninth and playing center field is Chris Dickerson. 27-year-old Kyle Kendrick will get the start for the Philadelphia Phillies. Split last year between the bullpen and the rotation. Those are the numbers. 34 games, 15 starts, 8-6, 3.22. Less than a hit per inning. Doesn't walk many. Struck out 59. He's not overpowering in that sense. Opponents hit 255 against him.
Has an outstanding changeup. Good mound presence.
There's Derek Jeter, coming off a season where he hit 297 last year, 327 after the All-Star break. And he also picked up his 3,000th hit and did it in style with a home run. Line drive, right field, it is a base hit. Montanez gets the ball in, and Jeter with a leadoff single.
Really good swing here by Derek. He gets on top of that ball and just drives it to right center field. You know, he's been working hard on getting the ball in the air. He's hit a lot of balls early in spring training on the ground. He wants to get the ball up more. That was a really nice swing. He stayed behind it and drove it to right center.
So Derek leads off first, held there by Ty Wigginton, and here is a Robinson Cano.
Boy, does Robinson use his hands well at home plate. I mean, he uses his lower body. He's just an outstanding hitter is what he is. You get a second baseman on your team that can hit the middle part of your lineup and hit 25+ home runs, you're way ahead of the game.
Now the plan this year is to have Cano bat third. Now he was batting fifth last year. And you usually put the best hitter in your lineup batting third will be protected by Alex Rodriguez. Does it really matter? Do we read too much into it, Lou, or is it a big deal where you put a hitter?
Well, I think if you can hit second, third, fourth, or fifth, you don't really need to change your hitting style much. The difference between hitting second and third as opposed to fourth and fifth is you're getting possibly one more at bat at the end of that ball game. And it depends on who's swinging the bat well, who the manager wants up there. But Cano is certainly a very, very viable candidate for any hole in the lineup, especially the 3-hole. I enjoy watching this young man swing.
The 2-1. Line drive. One away as Jeter scampers back. Let's check out the Phillies defense, which is brought to you in part by the Home Depot. In the outfield is Presednik, Victorino, and Montanez. That's left to right. In the infield, third to first, Luna, Martinez, Franson, and Wigginton. And Kratz is behind the plate with Kendrick on the mound. And here's Alex Rodriguez. Last year played in just 99 games. Couple of injuries. Knee bothered him, his thumb. Tried to battle through it. In the second half, he was not the player that he wants to be, and really spent the offseason working on conditioning and looking into how to stay healthy, because that's the key with him. He can still play, but he has to be in the lineup.
Well, like you alluded to, Mike, he had that knee problem and that thumb problem. But boy, when your legs aren't really strong and you're hurting, you lose your base. And when you lose your base, and your legs are your base, when you hit, when you play, when you field, when you run, you just can't get the job done as well. But I'll tell you this, he's in good shape this spring and he's healthy.
Right back up the middle, knocked down by Kendrick. He'll take the out at first as Jeter goes to second. So Kendrick, with quick reflexes, stopped that one from going into center field.
Well, breaking ball down in the strike zone. Alex tried to go up the middle with it. Kendricks knocks it down and throws him out, but not a bad swing.
Here's Mark Teixeira.
Teixeira's been working with Reggie here early in camp on confidence, on driving the ball more to the gaps. And talking to Mark, I wouldn't be surprised to see him bunt once in a while when they give him that shift.
Now, you'd be cool with that if you were managing him?
Well, obviously, in Yankee Stadium with that short right field porch, you want to see power. But, you know, look, you get into a one-run ball game, you start off the inning. Why not lay a bunt down once in a while and get on base? You know, you need base runners to score. So, yeah, I would be all right with it. Not obviously all the time, but from time to time, surprise, why not? What is your feeling on that, Mike?
They shift him so much, Lou, that I think that if he took a couple of base hits to the left side, they wouldn't shift as much, because you can't just give up an automatic hit every time he does it. But I also see the flip side. You want him to hit the ball in the seats.
Yeah, you're paying him to hit the ball in the seats, no question.
Strike three. Kendrick gets Teixeira looking. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We played one here in Tampa. There's no score. Yankees and the Phils on yes. This is brought to you in part by Wendy's. Try Wendy's premium fish fillet sandwich made with only 100% North Pacific cod. By Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com to find a dealer near you. And by 5-Hour Energy, when you gotta get stuff done. Some future Yankees right outside. And inside, the present-day Yankees. Scoreless tie with the Phillies. Hector Luna leads off against Sabathia, and there's a strike. Dan Iasonia is the home plate umpire. Luna with the Red Sox AAA team last year.
When I was in Tampa Bay a few years ago, we drafted Luna in the Major League draft. He was having a great spring. All of a sudden, put him at shortstop one day against the Blue Jays. He made 4 errors. We had to get him out of the ball game. Got the jitters.
That one is lofted into right center field. Andrew Jones runs it down for the first out.
You know, and here early in spring training, these young kids get opportunities, and they've got to make the best of them. That's how they stay around. The more you impress here, whether you make the team or not, the better chances of being called up when needed.
Did you have good springs, or did you just go to spring to work on things?
You know, Michael, it took me a long time to make a big league club out of spring training. When I played, I didn't realize that you were graded on the first 10 or 15 games of a spring. I thought that they looked at what you did the prior year in the minor leagues, and then they'd give you an opportunity based on that. But a major league manager doesn't know you. You've got to come to camp in shape. You got to be ready to play, and you got to impress.
The 1-0. Franson hits one to right center field. Dickerson will run it down for the second half.
Yeah, and then these early games, the manager gets a chance to play his entire roster. Sooner or later, you got to cut your team down, and it's hard to send a guy out, and you'll tell you, Skip, you're sending me out. I never got it at bat. Or, look, I never pitched an inning.
Right.
So these B games are a perfect time for the manager to play a lot of players and give people chances.
Now, speaking of a split squad game, an update from Fort Myers. Scoreless first inning for Phil Hughes. He gave up a leadoff single, and he retired the next 3. We'll get you up to date on that as he continues to pitch in Fort Myers. Here's Tyson Gillies. He's the DH today for the Phils. Fouled away. I've heard from so many managers that the worst part about this job is cutting people in spring training.
No fun. Every day that we've had cuts, I come to the ballpark early and I rue the fact that I've got to get these young kids out and give them the message that we've got to send them out. You try to be as positive as you can. That's the key. Stress the good things they've done in camp and tell them not to lose their confidence. And I basically was a guy that could rely on my own experiences.
That one's dribbled slowly up the first baseline, and it's a foul ball.
Because I was sent out 6 times from different major league camps, so I was on the other side of it too, and it didn't feel good. It really didn't. But you know, it's done a lot more professionally now. When I played, you'd come in from a ball game. If your bags were packed, you were gone. Now you talk to the player and you tell them the things that he might need to work on, what to improve on, and so forth. But it's a great experience for these guys that come major league camp.
The 1-2. Breaking ball, strike 3. Beautiful pitch by Sabathia, and he freezes Gillies for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So the Phillies go down in order. Sabathia has worked 2 scoreless innings. We go to the bottom of the second. There's no score. Today. Go to the bottom of the second inning. There's no score. Yankees and the Phillies. Eric Chavez will lead off. Grounds out one foul, and nice play by the first base coach, Tino Martinez.
Tino was looking forward to coaching first base today. He's excited about it.
Tino looks like he can still play, Lou.
He looks wonderful. He really does. I play golf with him from time to time over at Avila. And Tino and I both like to fish, so we've got some things in common.
Now, you helped expedite his move here to the Yankees, right, when you were with Seattle?
That was a mistake.
The 0-1 to Chavez, grounded foul.
Yeah, Tino, the Yankees needed a first baseman. And Madeline had just retired. Yeah, and the boss kept asking me, are you sure that Tino can take Manley's place? Can he handle that pressure? I said, yes, he can. Woody was, that ball looked out of the zone a little bit. But Woody Woodward, our general manager, looked a little high to me. Yeah, borderline. Although it was an off-speed pitch, and you really don't want to take those off-speed pitches up in the zone much. Those are the ones that travel the furthest. But anyway, Tino came over here, and I'll tell you what, he did his part in helping us set some pretty good Seattle teams home in postseason.
Got 4 World Series rings.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful young man.
Pitch to Russell Martin's inside. The only reason Seattle traded him, they couldn't afford to sign him, right?
They couldn't afford to sign him. I think that he was going to San Diego at one time, and I talked to his uncle, and he said, boy, he would love to come to the Yankees. Spring train here in Tampa. New York's easy corridor up the East Coast from Tampa. Family traveling and so forth. So I asked Woody, I said, explore that. And he did trade him here. He had a marvelous, marvelous career here. That, like you said, four World Series rings. And the worst part about it is that when he played us in postseason, he always played very well against Seattle.
And Woody, of course, is Woody Woodward, the GM.
The GM was here also. When I managed here in '86 and '87, Woody was my GM.
Russell Martin with a 1-2 count. Russell has 3 stolen bases this spring, and his legs feel great. Last year, before he came to the Yankees, he was rehabbing a knee injury, and he wasn't really able to work on his legs. This offseason he did, and he said just that half step means a lot in stealing bases. That one's lined to left field, and it's caught by Posegnick.
Well, Russ is a very, very athletic catcher. He made a great play yesterday on a bunt in front of home plate. In fact, Yogi Berra was kidding him about it. I'm talking about Yogi and being in camp here the past couple of weeks and being able to talk to the Guidrys, the Gossages, the David Wells, the Tino Martinis, the Yogis. I tell you what, it's been fun for me.
That's Lou Piniella that you're listening to. I'm Michael Kay. We'll be joined later on by Jack Curry as we bring you Yankee baseball on this Sunday afternoon. Andrew Jones swings and misses.
Andrew's had some good at-bats here early in camp. He's a good fastball hitter, and he's been jumping on that fastball.
You know, there's so much film and there's so much coaching, and sometimes it's the simplest things. Andrew Jones had a very bad first half last year, and he got a phone call from his mom at the All-Star break. She goes, you look terrible, you look awful, get back to what you used to do, and kind of snapped him to attention. Grounded to third, nice play backing up by Luna, and he guns down Andrew Jones for the final out of a 1-2-3 second inning. We played 2 here at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. A tough hop there for Luna, but he stayed with it and made the play. We go to the third, no score.
history together.
That one's still deep to left. We're fighting, scratching, and clawing for runs.
Feels good. Rivera.
See ya.
That ball's high.
History with an exclamation point. What an introduction. He made the play.
We got that mojo back.
Back here at Steinbrenner Field, Eric Kratz will lead off against CC Sabathia, entering his second inning of work. Kratz, the number 9 hitter in the Philly lineup, jumps on the first pitch and hammers it foul. We are joined here in the booth by our colleague Jack Curry, joining me and Lou Piniella. Jack, a lot has been made about CC losing weight. How much has he lost, and did he think it was a problem last year?
Michael, he said he's lost 15. And I remember on our Yankees Baseball Daily Show in the offseason, Bob Lorenz and I interviewed him. And even at that point, November, December, he was saying that he wanted to get down to a lower weight. He thought that it impacted him toward the end of last season.
Kratz singles through the left side.
And if you talk to Larry Rothschild, Michael, and I'm Lou, I'm sure you could vouch for this. He says that any pitcher, it's about balance, and you want the guy to have balance on the mound. And if you're leaner and you feel more athletic, and CeCe's a great athlete, you're going to have better balance on the mound. And so Rothschild was happy about it too.
And Lou, you mentioned earlier there's stamina that's involved too if you're heavier toward the end of the year.
No question. Puts a lot more strain on your legs, on your back. So the less you weigh, the better.
Here's Michael Martinez. He walked in the first inning.
Now, CeCe's never going to be twiggy, obviously. But, you know, he's looking really, really good now. And he's working really hard. He keeps his weight down. Yeah, he'll be stronger as the season progresses. No question about it.
You know what? After his last start, I have to tell you guys what I saw in the clubhouse. We get to go in the clubhouse, obviously, after the first 2 or 3 innings that he pitched. And after he did the interviews, he sat down at his locker and ate a bowl of fruit. And I mean, it was a big bowl. He had a monstrous-sized bowl of fruit, but he wasn't picking at the Mexican food that they had out there offered for the players. And so I think he understands that this is something that you have to do it throughout the season. And he said he's going to watch it, and he said he really has to watch it on the road because you get room service, game ends late, and guys want to go out and grab a bite to eat. He said that's where he's going to have to watch himself.
The 0-2 popped up. And Dickerson puts it away. Let's listen to CC Sabathia talking about his weight loss. Here's CC.
I feel great. I've lost 15 pounds so far. Want to take off maybe another 5 to 10 during spring training. The knee feels great. I did a lot of therapy this offseason, and it's the best it's felt coming into camp the last 2 years. So I'm excited about that.
CC, so 15, he wants to lose maybe 5 to 10 more, which would be a total of 20 to 25. And here's Scott Pisednik. Lou, did you ever come into camp overweight?
Boy, did I. I'll tell you what, the boss used to weigh me in personally. That wasn't any fun. One spring, I was 6 pounds overweight. Now, remember, I wasn't going to steal 15 or 20 bases.
Right.
But he says, till you lose those 6 pounds, you don't need a bat, you don't need a glove. All you need is a sweatshirt, and we're going to run you. And that's exactly what I did for about 9 days.
Jack, I'm trying to get a picture of George Steinbrenner with the scale and taking notes.
I have the picture, and I bet you it was a gray sweatshirt. It was one of those ones that's going to make you sweat a lot, those ones they used to have. I have the picture in my head.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing it did, it made the cold beer taste a little better in Fort Lauderdale.
Kratz leads off first. Foul back.
In fact, one year he sent Hop Cassidy over to my house in Temple Terrace here in Tampa and told me that he was under orders to get me in shape before I reported to camp. And he did. He worked me quite hard over at the University of South Florida at the Nautilus shop. I had a good year that year, too, and the boss reminded me about it, too.
And Hopalong Cassidy, former Heisman Trophy winner. Strike 3.
Well,
setting it down looking.
These left-handers aren't picking up his breaking ball at all. Sharp, sharp break. Late break. You know, and talking about Sabathia and his weight, airplane trips. That's where you really, really got to watch yourself. Late at night, you're traveling from town to town. It's easy to go back there and eat that airplane food and put on pounds.
And it keeps on coming, right? I mean, you could have 2 or 3 rounds of that if you want.
No question, all you want. And when you're leaving, they want to put it in your carry bag too. Make sure you got some in the room if you need it.
On the subject of weight, Michael Pineda, who pitched yesterday, I spoke to Brian Cashman this morning, and he said they're still getting to know Pineda, and they think that Pineda came in with a little more weight on him, and they want him to get some of it off. Pineda said he's lost 8 pounds already, and Cashman said, listen, he's a 22, 23-year-old kid. We're getting to know who he is, but we made the trade, and now we have to get him to acclimate to who we want him to be and who he is. They're not going to try and get him to change, but they do think that Pineda would be helped by dropping a few more pounds.
Boy, no chance on that breaking ball, Michael. And really, really tight rotation. No chance.
Count 1-1 on Victorino, who flied out to left in the first. It's interesting, Jack and Lou, that Brian Cashman doesn't believe in weight clauses, though. He said because if you put a weight clause in, he said the guy's going to make himself sick to get to that number. He said then they're not going to be an effective player. He said you just hope that they have the responsibility to get themselves to the right weight. So when they re-signed CeCe over the offseason, they never even thought about putting a weight clause in. That one is slapped into center field. Dickerson is there, almost went over his head. Took off a bit, but he makes the catch for the final out of the third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the third inning, a solid 3 innings for CeCe Sabathia. The Yankees and the Phillies scoreless here at Steinbrenner Field. We go to the bottom of the third inning here at Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees send 8-9-1 in the order against Kyle Kendrick. Bill Hall will start it off. Hall's trying to make the team as a utility guy. Chances aren't very good, though, Jack. I mean, the numbers don't seem to work in his favor unless somebody goes down with an injury.
Right. I mean, Chavez and Nunez are your backup infielders right now. I know he's playing left field today. Yankees are trying to see how versatile he can be, but this team is set. I mean, this team is set outside of maybe one bullpen spot. So guys like Hall and Dickerson and Dwayne Wise, Branyan, Nix, I mean, these guys are insurance policies for you. Some of them will end up at AAA. Some of them have opt-outs, but I mean, Bill Hall a few years ago, very nice, useful player. Last year, really didn't acquit himself very well, so that's why he's in this situation.
Yeah, I saw Bill quite a bit in the National League with the Milwaukee Brewers. He had some pop in his bat, did some damage. And you're right, he is versatile. He can play a few positions.
Even a guy like Wise, Michael, I asked Cashman about him this morning because I said, you look at your outfield, where does a guy like Wise fit in? And he said, right now, when you try and find a guy who can fill in at center field and do it well in a pinch, you don't want it to happen. But say a Gardner or a Granderson goes down and you needed somebody, he said that's why you have a guy like Wise. And you have him at AAA, you keep him ready. He's a guy who knows that he has to be able to play sparingly and perform well. And he said that's why you stockpile these guys.
Count 2-2.
Well, you need backup. You really do. You need backup in AAA in case there's a problem. And for clubs like the Yankees that have older players at some positions, it's good to have that luxury. No question.
The 2-2. Line drive into right center. It's a base hit as Victorino cuts the ball off. So a single for Bill Hall. Now in the other game, Phil Hughes pitched a scoreless first inning. And it's interesting, we've seen Sabathia pitch well, and Joe Girardi has come out and said there are two spots in the rotation that you could mark down, Sabathia and Kuroda. Everybody seems to think there's a battle for the fifth spot, but that's not what the Yankees are saying. They're saying there's a battle for the third, fourth, and fifth spot.
I agree with you, Michael, that I was surprised when Girardi said that, but Cashman reiterated that this morning and said exactly what you just said. Sabathia and Kuroda are your 1 and 2. And then it's the other four guys trying to fight for those three spots. So you look at that. Pineda, who came over in a big trade. Nova, who won 16 games last year. I think a lot of people thought it was Garcia versus Hughes for 5. But when the manager and the general manager are telling you differently, and then Cashman also pointed out this morning, Pineda, Hughes, and Nova all have options. So they are guys that if the Yankees wanted to or felt that they needed to send them to Scranton, they have that ability to do that.
Well, it's a good idea for a veteran pitcher to take the number 2 spot here. It takes a lot of heat off these young kids. Gives them a chance to develop. They don't have to face the other team's 1 or 2 starters.
Snap throw to first as Hall's back.
But I'll tell you, they've got the makings of a really nice pitching staff here. I mean, you're talking about 2 top-notch kids in Pineda and Nova. And then you got the experience of Garcia and Kuroda. You got Hughes, it's a power pitcher. And then you got the horse in the number 1 spot. I mean, that's the makings of a nice rotation. Anyway, it shakes out.
You know, Lou, you got a chance to see Kuroda up close when you were managing the Cubs. We don't know that much about him. We know the stuff that he has. What do you think
he can pitch?
Can he translate to the AL East, you think?
That's going to be a little tougher on him. It always is for pitchers coming.
1-1. Grounded to first. Grabbed there by Wigington. And he makes the out at second. So nice play by Wigington.
You know, coming from the National League, especially the National League West to the American League East. I mean, there's more depth here. You got the DH. But Kuroda can pitch now. I mean, he's got 3 good solid pitches. And he's got a legitimate strikeout pitch with his split finger. Just a question of getting ahead of the hitters because he throws that pitch out of the zone a lot. But, yeah, I like Kuroda. I think he'll do a really nice job. It was a great pickup by Brian and the New York Yankees.
Here's Derek Jeter. Jumped on the first pitch in the first inning and singled to right center.
Now, he threw the other day, and I watched him. He was a little more flat with his pitches, Michael. He was getting the fastball up, but that'll come. Yeah, you know, with these older pitchers, more experienced pitchers, you got to give them time, obviously.
There's a strike.
Tell you what, for a split squad game, the Yankees are putting a pretty darn good lineup out here in Tampa.
Another pretty good pitcher is going to be coming in. Mariano Rivera is warming up. Runner goes, grounded and past Wigington into right field. Didn't play that well. Moving to third is Dickerson. I'm sorry. So Jeter picks up his second hit of the afternoon.
Really nice hit and run here. Runners going. Jeter slaps it right through that first base hole, and first and third, one out. The type of baseball you like to see. That type of baseball will win anywhere.
Here's Robinson Cano, lined out to the second baseman in the first inning. Yankees got some good news this week, or earlier this week, that David Robertson was not as badly injured as they initially thought.
Right, a bone bruise on the foot, Michael. When they did a series of tests, they didn't know what was going to come back. And a little improvement even today. He had been in a walking boot and on crutches. Today, Robertson ditched the crutches.
Right back to the mound. They have Dickerson in a rundown. Still no tag made. And that's a good job by Dickerson because he allowed the other two runners to move up. And not a great job by the Phillies executing that rundown.
Yeah, in this play here, basically, you've got to run Dickerson back to third base, Michael. You keep runners on first and second. Pitcher here overruns him. Jeter, good base running. Well, he might have gone out of the baseline just a little bit, too.
That scored a 1-2, and the runners move up. Cano reaches on the fielder's choice. Here's Alex Rodriguez.
Well, I've enjoyed watching Alex play all these years. I remember when he came up as a youngster with the Seattle Mariners. And I've watched his career blossom. Star that he is.
That one is lofted to right field. Montanez is there, and that will do it. We'll hear from Jack right outside the Yankee clubhouse a little bit later on as some of the Yankee players come out. The Yankees don't score. They get 2 hits. They leave 2. We go to the fourth. There's no score. About 9 or 10 innings during the spring, and he's ready. And he was ready last year. 64 games, 1.91 ERA, converted 44 of 49 save opportunities, about a strikeout an inning, and 47 hits, 8 walks. And even guys like you, Lou, that managed in the big leagues and played at a high level, you marvel at a guy like this.
He makes it look so easy, so effortless. I mean, he throws that one pitch. I'll tell you, It's amazing what this young man's done. And, well, he's 42 years old and he's still going strong. But what a great, great career. And one of the reasons I think that managers like to pitch a guy like Rivera in the 4th inning, he'll face some better hitters too, instead of the young kids at the end of the ball game.
Now, I know this is a convoluted way to think, but I think there's some legitimacy to it. 95, Rivera came up to the Yankees. As Wigginton hits a fly ball to right field, Andrew Jones is there. And Buck Showalter really didn't know what he had. And if he had known what he had at that time, he admits he didn't know what he had, there might not be baseball in Seattle.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's hard for a manager to use a young guy that he's not all that familiar with, doesn't have all that much confidence in that type of situation. I can understand why he wouldn't use him, truthfully, because he'd have a lot of questions after the ball game.
If you remember that
why
series,
not using Wetland? Why not using
right.
McDowell and so forth? Yeah, I remember the series well. It was a fun series. That was the only time we were able to beat New York in postseason, though.
And when we say that it saved baseball in Seattle, if Seattle doesn't make that run and make the playoffs and then beat the Yankees, they probably don't get the funding approved for Safeco Field.
No question. That had as much to do with it as anything else. But just a tough situation for Showalter or any manager to use a young guy that they just brought up in September. Didn't give him a chance to pitch in those type of situations. I understand it entirely.
Now the big fear is this his last year? He says he's made up his mind, but he's not telling anybody. He is 42, as Lou said. And we asked Joe Girardi last weekend. He goes, I don't even want to think about what life would be like without him.
I wouldn't if I were he either. I mean, he's as automatic as there is. Right now, he still pitches 2 innings once in a while. They'd probably use him, one most of the time. But when I played against him or managed against him, he was a 2-inning closer.
Punts the other way.
And doesn't throw that many pitches.
Pinpoint control.
Pinpoint control. He can pitch to both sides of the plate. Truthfully, he eats up left-handers with that cut fastball in on the belt. And he's so confident in the way he does it. There's no panic. He's totally under control. He doesn't try to overthrow it. And what a nice young man to boot.
Grounded foul.
He lives over in Avila here in spring training where I have a home. Doesn't play golf though.
He said he will make his decision known maybe halfway through the season. It's something that he doesn't want to be bothered with the whole year. Most people just assume if he's made a decision that he probably is not going to come back next year, but I don't think it's any level of certainty. 17 seasons with the Yankees, 12 times an All-Star, 5 times a world champion. He has more saves than anybody ever. And look at the postseason numbers: 8-1, 0.70. That one is wrapped into left center field. Dickerson on the run, and he makes the play. Good job by Chris Dickerson to run that down.
Yeah, Mariano's a certain. This ball's hit pretty well. And like you mentioned, Michael, Dickerson gets a good jump, makes a great play. It's not that easy to play the outfield here in spring training with the wind, the high sky, the sun, and so forth. But I'll tell you what, the Yankees work quite hard chasing fly balls in the morning. The outfield drill.
Strike to Luna.
In fact, I've been very impressed with this camp period. I mean, it's organized, it's detailed, and these guys are working quite hard. Kudos to Joe and his coaching staff.
Grounded to third. Chavez gobbles it up. A nice easy 1-2-3 inning for Mariano Rivera. So the great Rivera works a scoreless fourth. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Still no runs on the board here on Yes. Tuesday night, hear the stories behind the greatest moments of our first decade with the Yes Network. Special 10 years of Yes. It's memories from the Yankees, Nets, center stage, and more, including a unique first-hand account from fans who witnessed Derek Jeter's dive into the stands. 10 years of Yes premieres Tuesday after the Yankees-Red Sox game, only on Yes. And there's Mariano sitting with former Yankee great Ron Guidry, won the Cy Young in 1978, 25-3, and he was a teammate of Lou's that year.
What a year he had in '78, 25-3. He almost single-handedly got us to postseason up in Boston, but Mariano, in fact, Guidry came up as a reliever, and then became just a dominant starting pitcher.
Austin Hyatt, the new pitcher for the Phillies. Last year at Double-A, 28 starts, 12-6 mark, 3.85 ERA.
Well, that was an impressive inning for Mariano. 14 pitches, 10 strikes. Just a stroll through Central Park, Michael.
I wonder if he broke a sweat.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's going to have to go out and run a few sprints.
One guy he couldn't get out, Lou, and you managed that guy. Edgar Martinez just drove him crazy.
Edgar was just a great hitter. I mean, he's as good a right-hand hitter as I've seen. In fact, truthfully, I would vote for him. Hall of Fame. Yeah, he stayed on the ball. He stayed inside of it so well, and Mariano had trouble with that. But he didn't have trouble with too many other guys.
Teixeira, Chavez, and Martin. I always wondered this, Lou, when you managed against the Yankees and Rivera was in his prime and you were at the Mariners. He's still in his prime, I shouldn't say that, but did you manage differently thinking you only had 8 innings to do the job?
You had 7 at times.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, when Joe was here, he would go to Mariano in the 8th and go right from the starter to the closer. I'll tell you, you had to take leads against the Yankees. It was hard to do. They had excellent starting pitching with Pettit and Roger Clemens and my gosh, I don't remember whom else. David Cohn, excellent. Yeah, all of them.
Eric Chavez way out in front, pops that one up. Wigginton is there for the second out.
Yeah, that wasn't a good at bat for Chavez's part. He got a little anxious, swung at a changeup when he wasn't looking for it. But Well, that's what spring training's for. But yeah, you played against the Yankees, and if you didn't take a lead into late innings, you were in trouble. You weren't going to win baseball games. And that's what made them so tough.
Here's Russell Martin. Fly ball to left field in the second, so he's 0 for 2. Yankees and the Phillies. Saw them in the World Series in 2009, a World Series the Yankees won for their 27th world title. And that stopped the Phillies from winning back-to-back World Series. They had won in 2008 against Tampa Bay. Boone Logan warming for the Yankees. And that one clips Russell Martin on the way by, so he'll take first.
Curious to see if Martin will try a stolen base here with 2 outs and nobody on.
Now, Lou, you played with a catcher that I remember growing up, whenever he would get hit by a pitch, he would never rub Thurman Munson. He just wouldn't rub it.
Tough as nails. Tough as nails. I remember many times he'd get spiked at home plate. Wouldn't come out of the ball game. They'd stitch him up right behind the dugout, little room that we had there, and he'd catch the ball game. This guy, well, he was our team captain, and easy to explain why.
Russell Martin almost got picked off. He was going there.
Yeah, he was going. He was going. But, yeah, Thurman, boy. No, and you're right. He'd get plucked on the hip, get plucked on the rib cage, get hit in the arm, never rub going to first base.
See, I would rub, Lou. I'd probably cry, too. Just, I mean, if it hurt, I'd rub.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, look, it hurts. When that ball hits you, it hurts. There's no question about it. I mean, sometimes you holler before it hits you.
Martin goes. Throw to second. Another stolen base for Russell Martin.
Got a big jump. Big jump. Looks in. Steals second very easily. Picked the right pitch, too. A change up in the dirt. Very hard to throw out a base runner.
Now, the Yankees like to run, but there's always the risk. They've got such good hitters in their lineup. Do you really want to run that much and lose outs on the base paths? And it's a delicate juggle right there.
There's no question. There's no question, Michael. You're exactly right. It is very delicate. But when you do run, invariably a couple things happen. One, the pitcher's going to throw more fastballs. The catcher does not want to be embarrassed. So he's invariably going to start putting the number 1 down. Give me some gas. Number 2, you're going to speed the pitcher up to home plate, which he'll lose some stuff doing that. And then you'll have infielders moving, so you're creating holes. So, yeah, you can get thrown out once in a while, but I'll tell you what, it helps in the long run. And the advanced scout is saying these guys are running. You got to pay attention to them. So there are a lot of benefits. And you're right. You don't want to run yourself out of innings, especially when you got the meat of your lineup coming up, the wind blowing out a little bit, and a 3-run homer will win you a ball game.
Bill Hall singled in the 3rd inning. 1-0 count on Bill. Runners on 1st and 2nd. There's a strike from the young right-hander.
You know, I was talking to Joe Girardi about that same subject in the dugout the other day, and he was trying to pick my brain a little bit of how I felt about that particular situation. And I said the same thing. Once in a while, it's good to do the unexpected. Because if you talk to these major league hitters, they'll tell you they'd rather hit the fastball than Uncle Charlie.
And even the great catchers will call for a fastball. Pudge Rodriguez was a classic example. He did not want people stealing on him.
Would you?
Nope. The 2-1. 3-1. So Austin Hyatt working himself into trouble. With 2 outs, he hit a batter, a stolen base, and then a walk, and now a 3-1 count on Bill Hall. And there's ball 4 to load the bases. Lou, we looked it up. Edgar Martinez against Mariano Rivera. You can hardly believe it because no one hits Rivera like this. Edgar was 11 for 19. That's 579, 2 homers and 6 ribbies.
Yeah, he felt very comfortable against Mariano. Mariano tried to cut that fastball away from him. And like I said, Edgar never pulled off the ball. In fact, he would stay inside the baseball as well as any right-hand hitter I've seen in the big leagues. And he could extend on him from time to time. I think he hit a couple home runs off him. But that's a rarity. There aren't too many people that were able to do that with Mariano.
Here's Chris Dickerson. Hey, there are horses for courses. You had Randy Johnson, and one of the guys who had 500 lifetime against Randy Johnson was Randy Velarde. Tom Seaver, some might argue one of the greatest pitchers who ever lived, couldn't get out Tommy Hutton. But Edgar Martinez was not a fluke. He was a great player, and he just had Mariano's number.
Well, some pitchers you can pick up so much better than others. For what particular reason?
Who did you own?
Well, I don't think I owned anybody. A lot of guys own me, though. That I can tell you. I made one mistake. It was mere stupidity. I'll tell you about it in 2 seconds.
2-0. Line to right field. It is a base hit. 1 run will score. They're going to send home Jones. The throw is not in time. Jones slides in ahead of the tag by Kratz. A 2-run single for Chris Dickerson. And the Yankees lead 2-0.
It's good 2-out hitting by Dickerson. Gets a fastball out over the plate, gets his hands above the ball, and lines it to right field. Jones comes around third and scores the 2nd run of the innings. I tell you, those 2-out base hits, scoring runs, boy, that's the worst thing that can happen to opposing teams. Pitchers can't stand it. You think they're out of the inning, and all of a sudden they give up a couple.
2-run single for Dickerson. Yankees on the board. It's 2-0. Here's Derek Jeter. Derek is 2 for 2 today. All right, Lou, I'm dying here.
Well, there's this guy named Bill Campbell that pitched for the Red Sox.
Yep.
And he pitched for the Minnesota Twins. And Don Zimmer was the manager of the Red Sox. And he kept bringing in Campbell to face me. And I told him one day, I said, why do you bring him in against me all the time? I said, I don't really pick this guy up very well. That was the stupidest thing I've done, because every time in late innings, here comes Soup Campbell. But I got to face him enough where I finally started seeing the ball well off of him, and I started getting hit, so that stopped that. But you can't tell the opposing teams what you can or can't do.
Runner goes. High fly ball. Left center. Pasednik back. Still back. Fighting the sun. And the catch is made by the outfielder Victorino. Looked as if Pasednik was calling, and then Victorino cuts in front and makes the play to end the inning. So that's going to do it as the Yankees score 2 runs on just 1 hit. No errors and 2 men left on base. Long drive into left center. Victorino fights the sun in the wind.
People everywhere are dropping everything to get to the Nissan Now sales event. Get great deals now. Lease Altima, just $179, or get 0% on Rogue. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer. Event ends April 2nd. Do it now.
Like that? Yeah. I just love the HD video and the access to thousands of apps on this iPhone.
But are we going to have reliable coverage on the go?
Of course, Mama. It's Verizon.
Yeah.
Great. We'll take 2. I have life too, you know.
Nothing should come between you and the phone you really want, especially the network it's running on. America's largest and most reliable network, plus global coverage for your iPhone. Verizon.
This is awesome.
Something fresh is turning at Boston Market, where real meals start with natural, slow.
Now, if you're a Yankee fan, you're obviously feeling good about those 2 runs. Well, we had booked Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long, and you see the Audi scoreboard 2-0 Yankees. And we said we was going to have Kevin Long on in the 5th inning, Yankee hitting coach. Well, Kevin, I'm sure that you were really glad that they finally scored runs. The hitting coach doesn't need his team shut out when he's on the air.
No worse feeling than getting ready to go on the air, knowing that your team's getting shut out. And we're probably going to talk about some hitters, so I'm glad we scored a couple runs.
Well, obviously, you helped with the hit batter and the 2 walks. That's all on you.
Well, it's all part of it. You know, Russ, we got ice. We can take care of him there, and a couple good walks and then a big hit. So it all worked out.
New Yankee pitcher is Boone Logan. We'll be talking to Kevin as we move along in this inning. And it's the bottom third of the Phillies order. And Logan deals. So, Kevin, what's it been like having Lou around? So many people have such great things to say about Lou as a hitting mind. How's he been working with?
He's awesome. I'll tell you what, to have Lou Piniella by your side and working alongside you can only help. It's awesome.
Kevin, I really like that drill that you do.
Well, you got to see the net drill the other day, Lou,
No
and that's a drill that we do quite often, and one that our hitters really like. And I think you said it best the other day when you said, hang on one second. You got that, Michael, a strike right at the
Look
knee.
at you doing play-by-play, too.
Yeah.
You do it all.
I'll tell you, the drill's just good because, Lou, we don't have to say anything. The hitters can kind of figure out what they're doing without me saying a whole lot.
Yeah, if they're long, they can't get that bat through that net.
That's right. That's right.
High fly ball, left field. And the catch is made by Bill Hall. Let's talk some specifics. Kevin, who do you think is locked in at this point, and do you get concerned with people struggling at this point, or is it still too early?
Yeah, it's too early to get too concerned with guys getting locked in or not locked in. Obviously, Alex has been swinging the bat. I like Russell Martin's at bats. Nick Swisher's had some good at bats. Jeet told me today, is it this easy? You guys tell me. He told me today he's going to find the air, and line drive into right, and then he hits a high fly ball. But he's starting to find it, using his legs a little bit more today, Lou.
Yeah, it's wonderful to watch. That ball that he hit there, if the wind hadn't been blowing in, that ball's out of the ballpark for a 3-run homer.
Absolutely right.
There's a ground ball to second. Cano is right there.
Kevin, how about the young guys? Who's impressed you here in camp so far?
I'll tell you what, Almonte has been impressive so far. He swung the bat well. David Adams has swung the bat well. You look at his average, I know it's probably not very well, but I've seen 6 lineouts in his last 6 at bats, so that's promising. Milky Mesas had a nice spring. Jose Gil has swung the bat well. So our young guys, they come in here, obviously they want to open up some eyes, and when they come in, it's game on. They're ready to go.
Here's Eric Kratz as we're talking with Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long. There's a strike. 2-0 Yankees.
I'm really concerned about Robinson Cano. I told him, I said, dude, you better pick it up. Let's go. Least of my concerns, really. But I thought I'd have some fun with him.
The 0-1.
Well, what's really impressed me is not only the drills, but the fact that these young men, I mean, they are professional and they work exceedingly hard, and it's fun to watch.
You know, we have some veteran players that get after it and work really hard, and they set a great example for our young kids that come in here, and they see the hard work and time and effort that these guys spend in the cages, on the back field, and you know what, the residue wears off on them, and you know, they say, well, if these guys are working that hard, then I certainly better be working that hard, if not harder.
I like the word residue.
Thank you. Michael gave me that one before I got on today. Thanks, Michael.
You got it, Kevin.
I didn't know how I was going to fit it in, but it worked perfect right there.
You know, Phil Jackson used to say that about Michael Jordan. When your best player practices hard, it makes it easier for a coach or a manager.
What a great point.
The 1-2. 2-2.
You know, it's not just one guy. It's every guy to a man in there doing what he needs to do to get ready for spring training. Some guys are swinging more than others. Some guys are kind of easing into it. I think my job is just to make sure that their mechanics, you know, kind of come together as soon as possible rather than later.
Swing and a miss. Nice off-speed breaking ball. Kevin, it was too short for Mr. Long, I'll tell you that.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks a lot.
See you, Lou. Bye-bye.
We played 4.5 here in Tampa. Halfway through, Yankees lead 2-0 over the Phillies on the Audi scoreboard on Yes.
Tuesday at 7, the Yankees are ready to let their bats do the talking when they renew their rivalry with the Red Sox in primetime on Yes.
Well, if you want to guarantee you'll have a seat on opening day, get the new 12-game opening day ticket plan. You get 12 great games, including opening day. Plans are available in a variety of locations, so purchase your opening day 12-game ticket plan today by calling 212-YANKEES or visiting Yankees.com. Well, we go to the bottom of the fifth. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the Yankee order. On the Audi scoreboard, Yankees lead 2-0. We'll see Cano, Rodriguez, and Teixeira.
Pretty good 2, 3, 4.
Not bad. That one is grounded right side and through for a base hit. Didn't hit the ball hard, kind of pulled an outside pitch, but got it through the hole. Alex Rodriguez mounded back to the mound in the first, fly ball to right in the third. Pitch is low. Lou obviously had Alex Rodriguez as a teenager with the Mariners in '95.
Yeah, we brought him up for a little cup of coffee. Gave him some experience. Sent him out. Brought him back, won a batting title, and his career was off to the races. Wonderful, wonderful young man.
At the time when he came up, I know he was the first pick in the draft, so you guys had high hopes for him. Did you ever think he'd turn into an all-time great?
Well, you're never sure, but I'll tell you this. When they showed us the 3 or 4 players that they were contemplating. I'm talking about Seattle taking first in the draft.
Right.
Alex was a man among boys. He really was. And Woody Woodward and his staff, they drafted him #1. He wasn't in the minor leagues very, very long. I think a year and a half or so.
High fly ball, left field. Posednik will make the play as Cano heads back to first.
He was a shortstop at that time. And he and Cal Ripken had a lot to do with the way that shortstop position's put together now. Opposed to just a slick fielding little line drive guy. You get a guy at shortstop in Powder River the baseball.
Late 90s, what an incredible time for shortstop in the American League. You had Ripken, you had A-Rod, you had Jeter, you had Nomar Garcia-Parra.
No question. No question.
And they all could hit. Here's Teixeira.
They could all hit. They could field. Could hit for power. They were all leaders. And that's a tough position to play, the shortstop position. Toughest position to play on the field.
In the year you guys drafted A-Rod first, Garen Dreifert and then Brian Anderson, so a couple of pitchers.
The guy the two people that were in the mix were Rodriguez and Dreifert, a pitcher from Wichita State. We took the right one.
I would think so. Dreifert was a decent pitcher, but he was no Alex Rodriguez.
No Alex Rodriguez.
In Fort Myers, Phil Hughes has completed his outing. He pitched 3 scoreless innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout for Phil Hughes. Runner goes. Line drive. A double play is what it is as Franson goes up and gets it, flips to first, and it's a 4-3 double play. So right on the thumbs of Teixeira, couldn't get it over the head of Franson. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the double play, nobody left on base. We played 5. Yankees lead the Phillies 2-0. Well, Tuesday night, the Yankees welcome the Red Sox to Steinbrenner Field. Coverage on Yes starts at 7. And get this broadcast crew. I'm going to be joined by Lou Piniella and Paul O'Neill. That's right, Red Sox Yankees. It all starts Tuesday at 7, followed by the Yes Network special. 10 years of Yes, only on Yes. Now, I'm a little bit nervous, Lou. Am I going to be okay with you and Paul? Are you guys going to get along? Do you have to wear a referee shirt? What's going on with you?
Nah, we'll have some fun up here. Paul's a good guy, and I enjoy. I'll enjoy seeing him and working with him. We'll have some fun.
All right. So I can rest assured everything's fine.
I agree.
Okay. Corey Wade on for the Yankees, their 4th pitcher, and Michael Martinez takes high 1-0.
Now, as long as we got a lot of food up here for him to eat, I hear he gets a little hungry.
A little hungry. I'm telling you, that's why I put on weight during the season. The guy gets his booth catered. It's amazing. Martinez pops it up and out of play.
Well, I tell you, so far the Yankee pitching. Sabathia 40 pitches, 29 strikes. Mariano 14 pitches, 10 strikes, and Boone Logan. That's pretty impressive.
Now you had Rothschild as a pitching coach.
Yes, he stresses strikes. He wants his pitchers to be aggressive in the strike zone, get ahead in the count, and put the hitter away. And I like that theory too, because you know I look at that bat like maybe a policeman on the side of the road with a radar gun. And the more pitches that you see, the more you can clock the pitcher. The guy with the radar on the side of the road, if he sees 50 cars go by about the same speed, what happens? I know exactly how fast he's going. It's the same thing with at bats. And that's why I like the idea of being able to take pitches early in the game so that you know exactly what the guy's got and you know the velocity or the speed of the different pitches. Now that confused you probably.
No, I see what you're saying. It's almost as if you're getting comfortable watching.
No question.
The more pitches he throws.
And the more pitches a pitcher throws, the more prone he is to make a mistake. And that's why you see your good RBI hitters, the guys that can drive in runs, they hit deeper in the count. They make the pitcher throw more pitches. They don't chase, and the pitcher makes a mistake.
I also don't think it's a coincidence, Lou, and you could correct me if you think I'm wrong. Better teams play longer games because they work at bats more.
No question. And the Yankees were great at that with Bernie, Posada, Jeter, Tino, O'Neill.
Paul, yeah.
I mean, you knew that you were going to have to throw a lot of pitches. And basically the only type pitcher that gave them a little bit of trouble was a guy like Jamie Moyer that would use so many off-speed pitches. But boy, I tell you what, we just showed a picture of Tino Martinez. He was excellent in long at-bats. And now you're getting your pitch counts up, and before you know it, you got your middle, your setup, and your closer if you're hitting the ball game. You're using a lot of pitches to win one ball game.
Now, the guy who started off for the Yankees today was CC Sabathia. He pitched a scoreless 3 innings, and Jack Curry has caught up with him outside the Yankee clubhouse. Here's Jack and CC.
Thanks very much, Michael. And now, CC, 26 days from today, you will be the opening day pitcher against the Tampa Bay Rays. What is left for you to do between now and then to tell yourself you're 100% ready?
Just keep working on pitches, hitting spots. And, today we tried to focus on the two-seamer. That went pretty good today, and throwing in the righty. So, we got that accomplished, but, still need to keep working in the bullpens and, just getting game ready.
It also seemed today like went to the changeup a couple times in the first inning. Also got a strikeout with your slider. How did you think those pitches were working for you?
They were pretty good today. I wasn't happy with them in my first start, and I told Russ let's focus on it. We focused on it in the bullpen before, and we were able to get into some situations where we can use it, and we got some good results.
You mentioned after your last start some of the things that you have to have in order: fastball command, consistency with delivery, able to throw your secondary pitches for strikes. In previous spring trainings, have any of those things lagged behind? Is there something you usually have to work on a little harder?
Just the fastball command is really a big thing for me. And, this year I feel pretty good coming in. My bullpens have been good, but, still a long way to go. So we'll still keep working really hard on that and, just making sure the secondary pitches just continue to develop.
I know you're going to get tired of answering this question, so I saved it for the end. But the fact that you came in leaner and you've said, you know what, for durability reasons, for your knee, it's all going to help you during the season. Is that something that you feel you're going to sustain through the whole season because it'll allow you to achieve more consistency that way?
Yeah, of course. And I feel really good right now, my workouts and, doing all the running and stuff that we did on here and all the drills. So, I definitely think it can help, and it's something that I will stay on top of. 3
scoreless innings for CC Sabathia. Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you, CC. So CC looks happy with what he did, and he should. He had a good outing today.
Excellent outing. Got all his pitches over. Worked on his breaking ball, worked on his changeup. He's always got that domineering fastball, and today he was in the strike zone with it. Very impressive.
Wigginton with 2 fly balls to right field. Runner at second. 2 outs. Top of the 6th. Wade deals inside.
Wade did a nice job last year for the Yankees. Mixes his pitch as well. I think his changeup probably his best pitch. But he drops down from time to time. There you go. Change his arm angle.
They chase back Martinez. Yankees got him out of the Tampa Bay system. He had a clause in his contract. If he wasn't called up by a certain point, he could be a free agent. And the Yankees jumped on the opportunity. Tampa Bay remade its bullpen last year, and he was in spring training and had a good spring training, but they just ran out of spots.
It's good scouting by the Yankees to pick this young man up.
3-1. Good breaking ball. 3-2.
Really good tilt on this pitch. He just froze the hitter. 3-1. You're looking for a fastball, and they drop Uncle Charlie on you.
3-2. Did he hold up? Oh, foul tipped it. So it's still 3-2.
Yeah, Tampa Bay did do a nice job with their bullpen last year. I watched them quite a bit down here. But their secret to their pitching staff is their starters. They're healthy and they go deep into the ballgame.
Three-2. Swing and a miss. He got him.
There's that changeup.
Way out in front. So good inning for Corey Wade after walking the leadoff batter. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. 2-0 Yankees go to the bottom of the 6th. Today's Game on Gas is brought to you in part by Chevy. With a full line of award-winning models, find out more at ChevyOffers.com. Eric Chavez leads off, and the first pitch is a strike. There's Reggie Jackson.
Boy, I enjoy talking baseball with Reggie. What a player he was. Hall of Famer. Mr. October.
Chavez pops it up to Franson. What was that night like when he hit the 3 home runs in Game 6?
Just
Could you believe it?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. And he hit it off of a knuckleballer. He hit it off of a left-hander. He hit it off of a right-hander. 3 different type pitchers. He loved the limelight. But I'll tell you what, the guy can produce. There's no question about it. He's here helping. He's here helping with a couple of the players here, keeping their confidence and so forth. But we have fun down there. Down the little room where I'm at in the coach's room, we got the Gator, we got David Wells, we got Tino, we got Yogi, we got Mazzilli, we got Stump Merrill, we got Reggie. I mean, it's
grounded to short. And a backhanded scoop there by Wigginton.
Michael, it's fun coming to the ballpark every day.
You got Goose in there too, right?
You got the Goose. Yeah, in fact, our locker right by the Goose. What a reliever he was.
You played with some good ones. You had Sparky Lau on the Cy Young Award, and then Goose came along, and Rigetti.
Oh, boy, David. We had Nettles at third base. How about Willie Randolph? Mickey Rivers, Mick the Quick. Catfish Hunter. I mean, you can go on and on. Thurman, my gosh.
That was the old Bronx Zoo. Hot shot to short. Nice play by Martinez. Sets, fires, got him. As the Yankees go down in order, 1, 2, 3. We played 6 here at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. The Yankees lead the Phillies 2-0. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. All right, that's what's happened so far. The game summary presented by Lincoln. The Phillies with 2 hits, the Yankees with 5. Yankees lead 2-0. CC Sabathia started 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, did not allow a run, did not walk a batter. And Mariano Rivera, 1 inning and zeros across. Dickerson with a 2-run single. Clay Rapata is the Yankees' 5th pitcher, and he deals a strike to Luis Montanez. Speaking of Mariano Rivera, our very own Jack Curry is in front of the Yankee clubhouse with Mo. Jack?
Thank you very much, Michael. And Mariano, how routine is this for you? Another spring training, you get out there, your first appearance, 1, 2, 3 inning. What did you take away from today's outing?
Well, I mean, I felt good. That was the most important thing. Feel good. I mean, I hit, I think I wasn't that wild. You know, I threw a few pitches that I wanted to throw, and we got in this strike zone. So, I mean, I'm happy with it, you know.
You ended up throwing 14 pitches, but 10 of them were in one at-bat. That was a feisty at-bat. Did you expect that in spring training, go through one of those 10-pitch at-bats?
I mean, that's the beauty about spring training. You know, that you end up working more, and that's what he wants. I mean, you don't want to throw 6, 7, 8 pitches. You want to throw as much as you can, so when time comes, you're ready for that situation.
I know when you first came into spring training, you said, hey, listen, guys, I know what I'm going to do at the end of this season. I know you said you're going to make the announcement at some point, but have your teammates, since you said that, have they been teasing you for any insight into, hey, Mariano, what are you going to do after 2012?
Not really. I don't think they respect me. They know me, and that's not their business either. So, once I started in the season and I meant what I meant. When I'm going to say whatever I had to say, well, they would know that time.
Part of your business, obviously, a big part of it is what happens with this team. What kind of feel do you have about the Yankees this season and what you guys can accomplish?
Well, I have a good feeling with the team. Tremendous team, tremendous bunch of guys, and we're trying to accomplish to win the World Series. That's our goal. So, we have to get ready here and go north with that mentality and execute it.
That's Mariano Rivera, a scoreless inning today. Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you to Mariano as well. So it's none of his teammates' business, Lou. He'll decide when he decides.
Well, he has that right, no question.
They're worried. It might not be their business, but I'm sure they're worried not having life without Mariano Rivera.
Well, he's been here a long, long time with so much success.
We talk about Mariano being the greatest reliever ever. See the Ford scoreboard, Yankees lead 2-0. And the thing I believe, Lou, that brings him onto another plane than anybody else. You've had relievers have great careers like Dennis Eckersley and Bruce Sutter, but no one has done it for 17 years and done it as easily or seemingly as easily and with one pitch. I don't know if anybody could ever be that great for that long, Lou.
I agree with you. The consistency. Every year, year in and year out. He was talking today about command. He only threw four balls. But no, he's. I marveled at the guy. Really, how do you describe him? One pitch. He can pitch at both sides of the plate. He can pitch every day. Earlier in his career, he pitched 2 innings. I think he breaks more bats than any pitcher I've seen at the big league level. It's unbelievable what he's done.
In '96, when he really became a part of what the Yankees were doing on a daily basis, when Joe Torre used him, sometimes for 3 innings to set up Wetland, Tom Kelly, then the manager of the Twins, gave a great quote that will go down really what Mariano told by. He goes, this league's not good enough for him. He belongs in another league. He belongs in a higher league. He said this just doesn't work for him.
Great way to describe it. Makes it look so easy. What's amazing is that if I were a pitcher, a young pitcher, and I came to camp, I'd be talking to Mariano, how do you throw that pitch? And I'd be working on it. I really would. He shows you basically that with one pitch, he can dominate a game.
Swing and a foul tip held on to by Russell Martin for the first out.
We had Sparky Lau when I came here in the 70s. And Sparky basically pitched with the slider. Ron Guidry, a young pitcher, saw that. He said, Sparky, can you show me how to throw that pitch? He did. Ron Guidry became a great pitcher because of it.
Here's Kevin Franson. We're in the top of the 7th. The Yankees lead 2-0. Well, the thing that makes Rivera so effective when you talk to other pitchers is that he's able to repeat his delivery. His arm slot doesn't change. He doesn't overstride. It's the same as it's been. I was watching one of the games on Yes of the '96 series. It doesn't look any different. He has a little less hair now. But the same sort of pitcher, same body type. He hasn't changed much, Lou.
Yeah, his mechanics, they're impeccable. And you're right, the arm slot. It's amazing. It really is. And you would think after 10, 12 years, well, we can make an adjustment to this guy. We'll figure out how to hit him. Still haven't figured it out. I don't think they will, Mike.
Well, one of the great stories is that Gene Michael was the GM when Mariano was coming through the system, and he would get readouts, and radar gun readings of all the pitchers in the minor leagues after every appearance. And for the longest time, Rivera would be at 89-90, 89-90. And then he got a sheet, because he was a starter back then, where Rivera was throwing 97 miles an hour consistently throughout the game. And he called up, he got angry, said, well, why don't you guys fix the radar gun? No, it's the same. He's throwing 97 now. And you ask Mariano about it, from one start to the next, he said it was an act of God.
Unbelievable. I wasn't aware of that.
And when he got called up
what was his explanation? Act of God?
He said it was an act of God. He had an elbow surgery earlier in his minor league career, and he had just settled into throwing 89 or 90, and then all of a sudden, in one 5-day span, it jumped up to 97, and that's where he stayed. He doesn't throw that hard anymore. He throws about 91, 92, but the cutter is so effective, and it comes in on you so quickly, he doesn't have to throw 97.
Yeah, he spots it so well, too. He really does. Yeah, when he was younger, we used to catch him consistently, that 95, 96, 97 mile.
When he first got called up, he started a game against the White Sox at Old Comiskey Park, and their scouting report was he throws about 90, and he threw 8 shutout innings, and the White Sox players were very angry. He said, well, 90? He's throwing 97, 98. The legend of Mariano was born. Grounded foul.
Well, that's how Goose started, too, over there as a starter for the White Sox. And the Goose would go out there and throw the ball 97, 98 miles an hour for 5 innings or so, and then he'd get a little tired, and you could have some respectable at-bats against him in the middle part of the ball game. And invariably, they made him a closer, which is what they did with Mariano.
3-2. Fouled away. Still 3-2. Runner at first, 1 man out.
But the command, the presence, my gosh, I mean, you can't teach that.
Clay Rapata trying to make the team as a second lefty behind Boone Logan. Deals. Fouled away. You know, and putting the Rivera stuff to bed for a while, I ran into an older gentleman outside who was telling me that he saw Babe Ruth play. And we will tell our grandchildren that we saw Mariano play. That's how special he is.
No
this
question.
Is a once-in-a-lifetime pitcher.
It's a great correlation. It's true. I remember growing up here in Tampa, and one of the biggest thrills I got as a kid was going to Al Lopez Field and watching Ted Williams play. It's always something I remember.
You ever get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I got a chance to meet him, talk to him. Talked a lot of hitting with him.
Do his theories still translate today?
Yes. They really do.
He talks hitting like a scientist, right?
Exactly.
3-2.
Exactly. And if you didn't agree with him, he'd try to convince you.
What was his basic theory?
Hips. Get those hips through the ball. You know, he's another guy basically that didn't use left field much at all. He hit that ball right through the shift.
Nice battle there by Franson as he wins it against Rapata and works a walk.
But in my conversations with him, I used to ask him, well, what's the toughest pitch to hit? He said the slider. The slider was the toughest pitch.
Did you agree?
Yeah, I thought, you know, I think if you take the slider away from the game of baseball, I think you'll see batting averages jump pronouncedly. It's a tough pitch to hit. There's no question.
It's tough because it looks like a fastball and then just drops down.
Exactly.
There's Tyson Gillies. And from what I remember, from what I've read, Lou, is that they really didn't start throwing the slider until the 50s.
No
they didn't
question.
have it in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
They didn't throw it at all. Basically, they had the fastball, the curveball, and the changeup, and then the slider came into into play, and it's been a tough pitch for hitters. It really is. I mean, gives you that deception. It's easier to throw for a strike than the curveball. The umpires call it a little more prevalent. And it keeps a hitter from really trying to extend all the time, especially if a pitcher's got a good one. You got to sit back and wait on that pitch, which makes that fastball in on your hands a lot more effective.
1-1 from Rapata. 1-2. Rapata's been impressive so far in camp. Last year with the Orioles and had a high ERA over 6, but I don't know if there's going to be a second lefty in the Yankee bullpen. We'll see how it shakes out, who wins what role in the starting rotation, and if there's another spot that opens up, whether or not David Robertson will be ready. But Rapata certainly making a case to be that second lefty behind Logan. And that's why he really makes lefties look bad. Yeah, he dropped down on that. Made boy, he creates a really, really good angle here. And as you can see, his heart is in it, but that's about it. He chases a bad pitch out of the zone. His heart's in it, but not his backside. Exactly. You said it the right way. Yeah, I was trying to find the correct way to describe it. But that's what a pitcher like Rapata has to do if he wants to make the team. He's got to get those type of hitters out. Pitch to Kratz. And it's such an advantage for a team to have two lefties out there. It saves a lot of wear and tear on your number one lefty. Because invariably there are situations where a manager might have to go to the lefty in the 6th inning to get through an inning. And then he's got nothing else to counter the rest of the game. The 0-1. Although from talking to Larry Rothschild, the Yankee right-handers do a pretty good job against left-handed hitting. But you do make a manager make moves. If you bring in a righty, they'll stay with a lefty even though. But if you bring in a lefty, you're going to make him burn through his bench. No question. And the more moves that you can make. Grounded to third. And that'll do it. Yeah, you can make the opposing manager make, the better off you're going to be. No runs a hit. 2 men left. Time for the 7th inning stretch in Tampa. Yankees lead this one over the Phillies 2-0. Some moves, and here are some notable free agent signings. Albert Pujols leaves the St. Louis Cardinals. Prince Fielder signs with the Tigers. Jose Reyes leaves the Mets, signed with the Marlins. You got C.J. Wilson signing with the Angels, and Yu Darvish got posted and then signed with the Rangers. Any of those jump out at you? Which one do you think is going to have the most effect, Lou?
Well, Pujols obviously is a great hitter. Played on World Championship teams with the Cardinals. I managed against them in the National League Central, and he's a force. It sort of surprised me just a little bit that he left St. Louis, though, Michael.
Me too.
And then you got Fielder. Fielder is I managed against him with the Brewers, and I'll tell you, this guy can hit a baseball. He'll have a really good impact for the Tigers. You know, Wilson's a nice number 3 starter on any staff. He went to the Angels also. And Reyes going to the Marlins. That's a nice move. They moved Ramirez to third base. They got Ozzie Guillen over there. They got my old guy Zambrano. I'm curious to see how that team does. And the kid Darvish has got a great future. Young, strong.
David Percy, the new pitcher. Cole Garner at the plate. Grounds one up the middle. Martinez for the first out.
But I'd never expected Pujols to leave St. Louis. I really didn't. I don't know if, although the Angels are a nice situation. Socha's a good manager. The owner over there is a wonderful guy, and it's a really nice organization. Tell you what, it's going to make that American League West a lot tougher.
There was some controversy because the Angels obviously want to market around Pujols, and they had signs around Anaheim with his face, and it says El Hombre, which means the man. And he got very angry with that because he said that's disrespectful to Stan Musial. Stan Musial is Stan the man in St. Louis, so he told the Angels, please don't continue with that campaign.
Well, he's a humble guy. Reminds me a lot in that regard like Mariano Rivera. Humble guy, Christian guy. I tell you what, just a great hitter. You talk about Edgar Martinez. Pujols is in that class. Actually stronger than Edgar was.
There's Justin Maxwell. Grounded to third. Under the glove of Luna. And kicks off the stands. Going to second is Maxwell. He's going to make it with a double.
That's a great hustling play. He was thinking double right out of the box. I'll tell you what, he's a strong young man. I've watched him take batting practice. He's got a lot of bat speed, but as you can see, he's not satisfied with a single. He hustles into second base and makes it quite easily.
Here's Doug Bernier hitting the leadoff spot. Derek Jeter was 2 for 3 while he was in there.
Tell you what, it's a thrill for these young guys to get a chance to play here late in the ball games, get some major league experience. And one thing about it, they come up here swinging.
You know, there's an old baseball adage, don't believe what you see in March and don't believe what you see in September. Did you buy into that, Lou?
I believe in that quite a bit. I really do, especially the September adage. But, you know, here in spring training, you've got to be able to impress your major league manager and your coaches. And how you do it is by having some good at-bats, and by, when you get the ball on the mound, by getting some people out, making some good plays on the field. I remember when guys have good at-bats, when they have good games, when they play well and they impress. I always ask about them when the season starts. How is this guy doing? How's that guy doing? And when you need somebody, you remember the guys that did well for you in camp.
1-2. 2-2.
And early in camp, it's fun watching these young kids play.
Chop. Oh, what a play by Martinez. And they will not be able to double him up because the throw pulled Franson off. I initially thought that was a chop, but he kind of took that off the ground and lined it into the hole, but a nice play by Martinez.
Yeah, great play by Martinez here. He ranges way to his right. Makes a great play. He had plenty of time, though, to get the base runner. He sort of hot dogged it just a little bit. Martinez is a good-looking young player. I saw him last spring. He handled himself quite well as a rookie.
There's David Adams. Grounded left side. Luna takes a couple of steps, fires across, and they don't come up with the scoop. And Maxwell will score, and the Yankees lead 3-0. Ty Wigginton, who is going to play a lot of first base until Ryan Howard comes back, could not come up with that scoop.
Yeah, there's Luna. Easy play. All he has to do is get it across the infield. First baseman should have come up with that ball, though. But yeah, that's one of the things. You talk about Howard, though, Michael, and you talk about his bat. This guy's a pretty good defensive first baseman also.
So that'll be an E5 on the throw by Luna. Allows a run to score, so the Yankees have a 3-0 lead. And here's Colin Curtis. Pitch outside. Kyle Kendrick started 3 innings. Then Austin Hyatt came in for 3. And now David Percy.
You know, the other deal that wasn't mentioned.
There's a ball. As Adams moves to second.
Was the Phillies acquiring Papelbon.
That's right.
From the Red Sox.
Yeah, he leaned down and then came back up without the ball, so that's what Dan Iasonia, the home plate umpire, said caused the ball. And then Papelbon kind of stirred things up early this week. He said Philly fans are smarter than Boston fans.
Well, I'm not too sure about that, but I guess he's in a Philadelphia uniform. He's got to say that. One thing, the Phillies cheesesteaks are better, though. That's for sure.
The 2-0. 2-1.
But 2 fun places to play, up in Boston and Philadelphia.
2 tough fan bases. I don't know who's smarter, but I'll tell you what, they're both very demanding of their teams.
No question. Writers are demanding in both towns. Media.
Foul back. Count 2-2.
My good friend Pat Gillick went to Philadelphia as a GM and won a world championship.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, rightfully so. He put together that team that won 116 games in Seattle.
Two. Swing and a miss. So Curtis down on strikes, but the Yankees score an unearned run. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. We go to the 8th. It's 3-0 Yanks. New playoff format for the upcoming season. Second wildcard team is added to each league. The two wildcard teams are going to play a one-game playoff to get into the division round. All division ties will be decided in a one-game playoff. And for the 2012 season, it'll change in 2013. The division series will start with a 2 games against the team with the worst record, and then 3 games with the team's home field advantage. And in 2013, Houston's going to move to the American League West, so that'll be 15 in each league. Do you like these moves, Lou? Do you like the extra playoff?
Yeah, I really do. It's worked very well with hockey. It's worked very well in pro football and basketball, and it's going to work very well in baseball. It gives more teams a chance in September. Fan base more interested in baseball. Good moves by Major League Baseball, yes.
Chase Whitley is the new Yankee pitcher, dealing to Gustavo Molina. Tries a drag bunt, does Martinez, but Whitley was off the mound quickly, makes the play.
Yeah, a team that gets off to a bad start or has injuries and so forth gives them a chance later on to get in the race.
You know, the interesting thing, and I think it's great because it does force you, when you see the new Yankee infield, it does force you to try to win your division because there's such a disadvantage going in as the wild card. But the last day of the 2011 season, one of the great days baseball's ever had. And it wouldn't have been a great day if you had a second wild card, because the Red Sox still would have made the playoffs and the Braves still would have made the playoffs in the National League. But I don't know if there's any perfect system. Gil makes the play and puts it away, because if there was a wild card in 1978, there would have never been that great one-game playoff at Fenway Park, and Bucky Dent would have never hit that home run, and you never would have made that great play and right.
Yeah, that was a fun day in Fenway. The most fun game I've ever played in, Michael. It really was. First of all, the Red Sox had a great team. You're up in Fenway playing. You know, we beat them 5 games in a row that year in their ballpark. We had the Boston Massacre, Labor Day weekend, 4 wins, and then we beat them up there in that playoff game in October. And the 3-run homer that Bucky Dent hit. You know, that Boston, Fenway was alive and loud, and all of a sudden you can hear a pin drop when Bucky dropped that ball into the net in left field.
Swing and a miss. Rich Thompson down on strike, so Chase Whitley with a 1-2-3 inning. Here in the 8th, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Yankees lead this one 3-0 on Yes.
Am I good to
Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and get over 150 select spring training games with no blackouts, plus every regular season game live or on demand on your favorite devices. Visit Yankees.com for details. New pitcher for the Phillies is Michael Stutz. And here's the numbers on Stutz. 57 games, 6-2, good numbers. 58 strikeouts in 62 innings, allowed 7 homers. Here is Jose Gil. And the pitch is low, 1-0. People following the game with us on Twitter pointed out that Mariano's start was not at the old Comiskey in '95, it was at the new Comiskey. So I stand corrected, and that was in fact the case. We looked it up. 1 away as Gil grounds out.
Well, the new Comiskey, tougher ballpark to pitch in than the old Comiskey. Well, the old Comiskey Park was big. Remember the big old scoreboard in center field? Remember Bill Veeck sitting in the upper deck in the outfield having a cold beer? Yeah.
Here's Kevin Russo.
Remember Wilbur Wood pitching a doubleheader against the Yankees on a Sunday afternoon.
And Bill Veeck had a wooden leg.
Yes.
And he would sit out in the bleachers, as Lou said, drink some beer, and then he would put out his cigar on the leg.
How about that?
To the delight of the people around him.
You had to be tough to be an owner.
Count 2-1. Hey Lou, you talked about the Bucky home run. Were you shocked that he hit it out?
Well, you wouldn't expect it. I don't think Bucky had a home run that year. If he did, he had one. That was it.
Hit sharply and a line drive out for the second out.
I've talked to Mike Torres many times. He's the pitcher that gave it up. And when he fouled that ball off his instep, it took probably about 7 or 8 minutes for Bucky to get back in the batter's box. And Mike never threw a warm-up pitch. And he said he tried to get a sinker down and away from him, and the ball just stayed in the middle of the plate. Now, when he hit it, I thought it'd be off the wall because I was watching Yastrzemski in left field, and he looked to me like he had a play. And at the last second, he backed off the wall thinking, well, I can hold him to a single here. Ball goes up in the net. Carl just dropped his head. Couldn't believe it. And from then on, you could hear pin drops dropping at Fenway.
Here's Gustavo Molina. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit for Molina. We'll bring back some good memories for you, Lou. Here is the home run for Bucky Dent. Don Zimmer in the Red Sox dugout.
There, you see that's a flat sinker. It stayed in the middle of the plate. Carlton Fisk was sitting on the outside part of the plate, and the ball never got there. Unbelievable.
You shortchanged Bucky, though. He had 5 home runs that year.
I'm sorry, Bucky. I am sorry.
He had 2 the next year.
How about, okay, I am sorry, Bucky. I know he didn't have too many. In fact, I just played in a charity golf tournament for Bucky in West Palm Beach. He does a great job in that area for the Little League and Pony League programs. I'm sorry, Bucky. I thought you only had 1 or 2. Actually, Bucky was a decent little hitter. I know one thing, the young girls really loved him.
Russell Earl, Bucky Dent.
Yes. 5 home runs.
Yep. The 5th one was pretty big.
Huge. Huge. Yeah, it got us to Kansas City. We had trouble with Kansas City in the playoffs, but that particular year we went right through them and beat the Dodgers in the '78 World Series.
That one is chopped and grabbed there, but no play. So Franson made a nice play, but could not get an out. So a base hit for Austin Crum.
I remember that particular day, Reggie hitting a home run over the center field wall to give us a 2-run lead.
You know what? That went under the radar, Will, and that was the difference in the game.
Difference in the game, no question. That's probably the only time that Reggie ever did anything that went under the radar, Michael.
Reggie Lou said that, not me. Here's Cole Garner. Check swing. Adam Hamari, the first base ump. Tuffy Goswitch talking with the home plate umpire Dan Iasonia. First and second for the Yankees. They lead 3-0. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Two-way, bottom of the 8th. Swing and a miss.
Pretty good slider. Hitter's approach wasn't all that good. Tough to try to pull that pitch down and away, Michael.
Molina on second. Crum is on first. 2 outs. The 1-2. That one bounced up there, blocked by Goswitch. Crowd of 10,810 here at Steinbrenner Field. A sellout. And they're all sellouts for the most part here. They put these tickets on sale and they're gone within an hour for the whole spring training slate.
Yeah, my buddies really enjoy coming out here and watching these games.
The 2-2. Full. That starts the runners. Stutes deals. Swing and a miss. Took something off it. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Lou said it was hard to hit homers in the old Comiskey. He's just being humble. The back foot was in the air. He went yard. An old-time see ya for Sweet Lou. Today. Tomorrow night, Darren Williams and the Nets continue their homestand when they battle Brandon Jennings and the Bucks. Coverage on Yes starts at 7 with the Nets pregame. Then Ryan Ruocco and Mike Fratello on courtside for all the action. Bucks, Nets, it all starts tomorrow at 7, and it's only on Yes. Much of the crowd of 10,000 plus making their way back into Tampa for dinner as the Yankees are trying to complete a shutout. 7 pitchers, the 7th pitcher, Kevin Whalen. CC Sabathia started, then Rivera, Logan, Wade, Rapata, Whitley, and now Whalen. And you see what Whalen did at Scranton Wilkes-Barre last year. 2 and 3, 2.75 with 23 saves. More than a strikeout per inning.
Pretty impressive.
There's Ty Wigginton. That one is driven deep to center field. Going back, Maxwell. Still back, and he'll make the play for the first out.
Well, the Yankees have gotten really, really good pitching today, and just enough timely hitting.
The Yankees scored 2 in the 4th on a 2-run single by Chris Dickerson, and then they scored the other run in the 7th inning on a throwing error by Hector Luna at third. Here's Lou Montañez. He's 1 for 3. Charlie Manuel is with the Tigers, or the Phillies squad playing the Tigers in Clearwater. Cliff Lee was starting in that game. So Pete McCannon has been managing this game for the Phils. And Joe Girardi was with the Yankee split squad in Fort Myers to see Phil Hughes throw 3 shutout innings, and Tony Pena has been managing this side of the Yankees.
Charlie's a fun guy to watch manage. He lets the guys play, and the players enjoy playing for him. He doesn't get too fancy. Lets the guys play. Joe's a lot the same way here with the Yankees.
One, 2. 2 and 2.
You have good players and a good team. You let them play. Stay out of the way.
Two. Swing and a miss. 2 away.
That's his pitch, a split finger.
Later today, don't miss, it gets late early out there. A tribute to outfielders as Yankee greats Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, and Reggie Jackson visit the Yogi Berra Museum to recount their days in pinstripes. It gets late early out there. Today after the game, it's only on Yes. So the Phillies are down to their final out. Hector Luna digs in against Kevin Whalen. That one is driven to center field and deep. Maxwell back. He's there, and that'll do it as the Yankees win this game by a 3-0 score. Whalen works a 1-2-3 ninth. Tony Pena manages his team to a victory. The Yankees are now 5-4 on the spring. The Phillies drop to 4-5. The big story, obviously, CC Sabathia pitched very, very well. Mariano Rivera with a scoreless inning. Boone Logan, Corey Wade, Clay Rapata, Chris Whitley, and then Kevin Whalen. So all in all, a good day for the Yankees as they lead and win this one 3-0. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment.